got the Locker Room Podcast. We got Sam Pierce. We got Jack Sullivan. And we got Wild Wild West NBA. That's what it's in. We got the Wild Wild West NBA. Now, Sam, I think that's where we're going to start our little podcast today. And we'll have the usual AO. And we'll obviously end the show with the showers. Sam, the West is unbelievable. Denver Nuggets leading the West. The Clippers acquiring Russell Westbrook. Starting to ramp things up a little bit. Little team chemistry stuff. I like it. I kind of like their playing style. The Kings are still cooking. We got Damian Lillard dropping 71 out west. With the West right now. There's just so many storylines. But right now, what do you think are some of the biggest storylines coming out of there?
I think the West is wide open. Kind of like you said, just reiterating what you said. You could really make the case that there are legit 6-7 teams that could come out of the West, and that's legit. That's not wanting to force a story. That just is the natural story. So I think the parity is nothing short of amazing. Two biggest storylines, I would definitely go with, of course, Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns, and he'll likely make his debut at some point this week, if not early next week. The Phoenix Suns still have been playing good without him playing yet. And without Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, and everybody was kind of worried what the rest of their team is going to look like adding Kevin Durant. Well, one, they only gave up Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, and those two together are still not Kevin Durant. So I don't know why people were worried about that. You got a whole lot better. So I think, of course, the Suns will be a major storyline, but I think one that's kind of getting buried a little bit is Luka and the Mavs being 1-4 since adding Kyrie, and Luka and Kyrie not being able to get the job done together yet. Mm-hmm. And I think that's becoming an issue. It's not that they're both not playing well, because I think they both are playing well individually, but it's kind of a your turn, my turn thing, and there's no flow to it. So I think that's a storyline to keep and watch, because if the Mavs keep losing, they could fall into the play-in tournament. Or they could be a lower seed and still none of the higher seeds will want to see them, but we don't know. Right. I think those are some of the major storylines. I'm curious to see how these last 20 something odd games plays out in the Western Conference, because I think seeding will be so important, Jack. I think matchups are going to make this entire playoff run. There are teams that, depending on the matchup, could legit make a run from the 7th seed to a title. There are 1 seed, like the Denver Nuggets. There's certain teams I know the Denver Nuggets don't want to see. They don't want to see a healthy Lakers team. I promise you that. You do not want to see LeBron James healthy, and we'll get into that in a little bit. And Anthony Davis and those boys, the way they're playing healthy. That's not a team you want to see. I don't think anybody wants to see the Golden State Warriors round 1 healthy. I know we're all under the assumption they'll get it together, but no, it's just so much styles. There's so much clashes, and the way it's looking right now, we could end up with a Golden State Memphis first round rematch with the tables kind of turn. I mean, that would be awesome. That'd be awesome to see that rematch. And I just have to see how this plays out, how certain new pieces gel, and who goes into the playoffs playing their best basketball is going to be very important, because every game is going to matter up until the end. So I'm curious to see who's clicking on all cylinders heading into the big games.
Yeah, I agree. You said it right there. I was going to say whoever has the momentum is probably going to have it throughout the playoffs. Whoever's playing their best basketball. That was a fantastic point. When it comes to the Nuggets, they have Jokic, an MVP. He makes everyone better. Aaron Gordon's playing his best basketball. Yeah. Kadavius Caldwell-Pope playing his best basketball. Michael Porter Jr. is starting to ramp it up. He can start to score the basketball like we expect him to. He's not at the level of doing that. So in the sense of like consistency-wise that we are expecting him to do, like we thought he was going to be in high school, but he can get it done. Jamal Murray, solid number 2 guy. Then I'm high on the Nuggets. Like you said, though, there's teams that you don't want to see. One of the teams I thought they weren't going to want to see were the Clippers, and they had to go into overtime to beat them last game.
That would be a great series. That would be a great series.
That's a 7-game series. If the Nuggets had to play the Warriors, that's a 7-game series. And in some ways, the Warriors still scare me there. And All your points are fantastic. And Lakers, it stinks to see that they can't get healthy because you got a glimpse of what they could be, right? They get Jared Vanderbilt in the starting lineup, and they start to click. D'Angelo Russell injured, LeBron injured. It sucks because that's what's been killing the Lakers the past 3 or 4 seasons is injuries, injuries, injuries. Because we know what they can be. We saw it in the bubble. Healthy guys in the bubble. Anthony Davis, like as much as you want to see, like, it was the bubble. It's different. Blah blah blah. Like they were healthy. They beat a healthy Miami Heat team, and that's what it was. It's always about health and those kind of things. So I think that stinks for Lakers that they can't be healthy. The Western Conference has just always been like this. It's been there. It's been like this when Kobe was out there. It's been like this when like Nash was battling and getting MVPs out there. That the West is always overpowering this Eastern Conference. And now in the East, I think it's right now it's 2 or 3 teams that you say could actually go to the finals and compete.
Yeah.
So I think it's with the West, like you said, 6, maybe. I'm gonna say 5 teams that really I think could go to the finals and win. And then on the Eastern side, it's only 2.
Well, I think in the East is 3. I think you kind of have to put Philly in there, even though I know recent playoff success, they kind of haven't really, done always what they needed to do. But I think this year is one of their best shots, if any, with how well they are playing. Again, I'll take my Celtics over anybody, including the Bucks, even though the Bucks very much do scare me. Very much hope they get knocked off surprisingly early or something because they do have that freaky man down in Milwaukee. So it's going to be difficult.
He's disgusting. He's unbelievable.
Him and Jokic, just to be able to watch generational players like them too, Jokic and Giannis, I think we'll appreciate them long after they're gone. I think I'm surprised Jokic is even going to win this MVP this year because he definitely should. He's the front runner, but I'm surprised people haven't got fatigued. Usually once you went back to back, people get fatigued and they just don't want to give you the third, kind of like they did Giannis, in a way. And so, but I'm glad he's getting his just due and everybody knows how great he is. But just going back to the West and the Lakers, more specifically, Jack, Woj tweeted out from ESPN sources that LeBron's right foot is expected to be reassessed in 2 weeks. And they're going to see how much progress he's made. But the timeline return is expected to extend beyond that. And where the Lakers reside in the standings by then is going to impact how soon it makes sense for him to return. That's per Woj of ESPN, an insider. And that's disheartening and concerning because, like you said, the Lakers were playing phenomenal basketball. I finally thought they got pieces that fit and that work. They got younger, they got faster. Jared Vanderbilt is a defensive Swiss Army knife. He did a great job against Luka in the comeback during the weekend. And they have shooting. Malik Beasley has been shooting the stripes off the ball. And Anthony Davis looks healthy and comfortable and dominant. He was dominant last game. He looked like AD, how he's supposed to look. And then LeBron hurts his foot. And he should not have came back and played on it, obviously, because he's going to be out weeks. But it's hard to get players when their adrenaline's going to kind of stop themselves. But it just sucks because I truly do believe with LeBron fully healthy in this stretch run, they were going to be at least a 6th seed, maybe a 5th seed. They're only like a game out of the 6th seed right now. Now I think it's either play in or bust. The expectations kind of have to change a little bit. If Anthony Davis stays healthy, they should still make the play. I do believe that. They should still make the play in. They should not miss the playoffs. AD does not have an excuse to miss the playoffs because LeBron is hurt. It's time for him to man up and to show up and to be that guy to carry his team through these tough times. LeBron's been having to do it for years. The torch is passed to Anthony Davis. He's got to step up. But it just sucks for the Laker faithful because I think they were finally getting it together. And nobody was enthusiastic to see this new look Lakers team in the playoffs. Nobody. They were already, everybody's like, they're all right, Do I really want to be the 3 seed? Now it's, do I want to fall back to 4? There's gamesmanship. That's why I say games are going to matter. Teams might sit certain guys out just to bump down to see, depending on who matchup is. But yeah, I'm not sure about the Lakers getting past this and getting a 6 seed, but I think they should still make the playoffs.
Yeah, the Lakers have an interesting schedule coming up while LeBron is out. Tonight they play Memphis at Memphis, and then they play Oklahoma City, Minnesota, Golden State. They play Memphis again next Tuesday. So that's a tough look. Toronto, New York, New Orleans, Houston, and Dallas on the 17th. So like those
no easy games.
No, and even Oklahoma City, like they've lost to them already.
Yeah,
and that was the night LeBron broke the scoring record. So it's with the Lakers, it's tough. There's no easy road ahead. We're like, okay, we have LeBron out, but we can do this. It's tough to look at that perspective while doing it. Again, staying in the West for this next storyline. Damian Lillard. When Dwayne Wade retired as in the mantle for Jack here, right? We're thinking about Jack because we always do. Dwayne Wade retires, so I had to pick a new favorite player, obviously. And I've loved Damian Lillard ever since he hit that game winner against the Rockets in the first round of the playoffs in Game 6 to send him to the next round.
Yeah,
I've loved that. I've loved that shot. I've practiced doing that shot a lot. It doesn't go in as much, but we know this.
Well, we know that. We
know that.
Say that.
We know that. But for him to do this type of game at the age he's at, so drafted in 2012, went to Weber State, and for him to still be playing at this level at his age and carrying a Blazers team, he's not carrying him into a playoff spot right now. I mean, in the sense of they're 11. They can get into that 10. They can get into that play-in spot. Yeah. But for him to be doing what he's doing, I think is remarkable. So right now, do we think that Damian Lillard is a top 3 point guard in the league?
No. Just no. I mean, he's playing like a top 3 point guard in the league. Of course, he's one of the league's best. He's a top 75 player, although I may have argued against that. I personally would have put a couple other guys in there over Damian Lillard. It's nice. It was great to see him get 72 points or whatever it
71,
was.
Yeah.
71, 72. I knew it was one of those. Just the lack of defense in today's NBA. I mean, it's the second time somebody's got 70 this season. It's kind of taking the lust out of it a little bit. And I just frankly don't care about the Trailblazers. I mean, they stink. They're going to always stink. They're going to continue to stink at their best. They made a conference finals, and I just really don't care about Portland nor Dame and this whole self-righteous, I'm going to stay here and stick it out mantra. Kudos to him, I guess. Is he a top 3 guard? No. I'm not. Preference-wise, I mean, I'm taking Luka Doncic. I'm taking Steph Curry. And there's one more. I had another one in mind. Maybe he is.
Irving?
That's a tough one.
That is tough, and that's where my argument was going to be. Would you rather have Kyrie Irving or Damian Lillard? Would you rather have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
Damian Lillard, of course, only because of a lot of the off the court stuff and a lot of uncertainty that comes with Kyrie. I'll take
mainly basketball.
It was tough. I guess if he is top 3, I guess he's 3. I guess he's 3. I mean, I guess I do have to get. Well, to be honest, I'm taking John Morant over Dame. So me personally, I wouldn't have him in my top 3. I'm taking John Morant, I'm taking Steph, and I'm taking Luka over Dame. That's just me preference wise. How he's been playing in this run, he's played better than Ja. He's been playing like the best point guard on earth in the last 10 games, 11 games, or something like that. But I'm still taking those guys ahead of him, unfortunately, and that's not a bad thing because those guys are really effing good. But I mean, I guess shout out to Dame. Good luck for you, but until Portland can kind of be relevant again, I just don't care, Jack. This kid 70 is cute. It ain't cute if you don't make the playoffs.
That's outrageous. That's outrageous. The fact that he's even putting up 71 is ridiculous. It's cute. That's outrageous, Sam.
All scoring records will fall in the next couple years, Jack. The scoring, nobody plays defense anymore. Scoring has boomed. I watched some of the defense being played on him. He did it against the Houston Rockets. Again,
He also
not that
pulled up from
impressed.
half court with a defender on him and scored.
Okay, Steph's been doing that since how long?
I'm just saying.
Like I said, I've seen it. It just doesn't excite me. It's Portland. Who cares? Who cares? So good job, Dame. Shout out to you. Go get another 70 and then go home before the playoffs. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters if you're not winning. It doesn't matter.
All I asked was he a top 3-point guard. You didn't have to go at his team.
That's part of it.
When is it? All I'm asking is, is he top?
Before the Mavs got Kyrie, how much better was the Mavs roster than Portland's roster? Realistically, not that much better. And the Mavs are a 4th seed. So that's what I mean. Like it was a one-man band. Luka. I mean, the Mavs roster is frankly, it's just not that much better than Portland's. That's being real. And one team is an 11th seed, the other is a 4th or 5th. That's what I mean. Like, okay, Dame, that's cute, but can we get some wins? Can I see some wins?
That's interesting. That
top
was
75 player.
It's a very good point.
He's held to another standard. He's a top 75 player.
I mean, they're only 2 games out of the playoffs. Really, only 2 games
behind
the Warriors.
Yeah, it's close.
I think it's Sam. If I'm doing my math right now, the Mavericks are 32-30, 11 games behind first. Yeah. Trailblazers are 29-31, 13 games behind first place.
And that's with the Mavs' recent losses.
Right,
they lost like 3-4 in a row.
But they
think about it. That means they were up like 6 games or something on Portland.
Right, but Portland was also not winning a lot either. Like because they also have Nurkic out, Anthony Simons is out. They have their injury bug ridden team too, and that's been a problem for them as well.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go down and say I think Lillard, like right now, I'm still taking Lillard over Morant in the sense of, and that's right, but that's right now.
I'm not mad at that.
I think just in today's NBA, the way that you can shoot those threes, heavily and not have it defended, why not have Dame? I think when he passes the ball well, I think he plays the pick and roll better than a lot of point guards in the sense of scoring. He's not as good as a passer as Luka. No shot. From
not
deep.
Many are.
No. I think he's a better shooter than Luka, but Luka also, that's not entirely his game. Luka gets to the rim and has step backs and mid range, and he's big. But just from the style of play, I think in the way the NBA is today, I think Lillard could thrive off that. So that's why I would say I would say he's 3, with Steph and Luka in front of him.
Okay, I can respect it. Like I said, he's right there.
Argue with me.
It's right. I already disagreed. I already said Ja. I'm already in disagreement, but I'm not mad. Like I'm not mad if somebody puts Dame top 3. I'm not going to be mad. I'm not going to. Hey, no way.
Get off my lawn.
There's clearly a case, but I'll just still take Ja. But Jack, it's time for our favorite part of the show.
Hey yo, what the?
Jackery.
Hey yo.
The Dallas Mavericks. Talking about them earlier.
Yep.
I know they better get it going, and they better start going fast because Mark Cuban's face after them blowing a 27-point lead to the Los Angeles Lakers, he was not happy. He was not a happy camper. He looked like the face of death with how pissed he was. I mean, that was a total shit show. You can't do that. Teams had not lost when up by that many points this year. And to lose that way to the Lakers, I think was just flat out nasty. And you saw as soon as the Mavericks stopped making threes, as soon as Jared Vanderbilt got in Luka's ass, they pretty much folded. And then I don't know what it is, but they still had a chance to tie the game or take the lead at the end, but they just can't execute in late games. I don't know what it is. I think both Kyrie and Luka are too busy trying to both be passive, but yet both be assertive, and they're still doing the your turn, my turn thing. and they cannot execute in late game close situations, and they got to get that together. I was just like, what the man? I thought the Lakers were gonna get blown out of the water, and the freaking Mavericks let them come back and let them win it. AD with a tough turnaround shot and says, "I'm a mother problem" and all that, and
Yeah.
the Bron's foot. I heard it pop. You hear him say, "I heard it pop." Hurts his foot, still comes back and plays and helps spark and lead the comeback. I mean, no D'Angelo Russell, and you still let the Lakers come back and beat you, Mavs. Hey, yo, what the man?
It's so funny you mentioned that because Jason Kidd postgame goes, I'm not the savior. I'm not their savior. I'm not out there. That has to be
Yeah,
all of them that figure it out.
because they asked him why he didn't call timeouts. He's like, I
Exactly.
told them what to do in the previous timeout. They didn't do it. What the fuck else you want me to do? That's
It's
as real as
basically
it gets.
yeah, it's basically if you're teaching kids and you're like, kids, here's the study guide. Here's what the answers are for when I give you the test tomorrow.
Yep.
This is what you're gonna do. But for the NBA guys, you're gonna do this in 27 seconds. Like,
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you what to do, and it's gonna happen in 27 seconds. Remember what to do. Doesn't always go as planned, but still, that's just I think it's funny by Kid because he's been in that position before, and he's trying to he has two really great point guards, and he's just like, hey guys, this is what we're gonna do.
Figure it out.
Yeah, Vin Diesel and the Dallas Maverick got to figure it out. My AO, speaking of celebrities, is the Jake Paul Tommy Fury. So I didn't know who Tommy Fury was. No, I mean I kind of like caught up with it, like he looks like kind of seemed like a boxer.
Yeah, half brother of the real Fury.
Yes, and I know who he is. I know who Jake Paul is. I think he's insane. I cringe every time I hear him talk. Every time I see him fight, I cringe. It's more funny that my girlfriend, who watches maybe a quarter of the sports I do, was like, "Oh, I know Tommy Fury because of his wife from Love Island." I was like, "Effing what? Love Island? We're watching Love Island versus YouTube right now. What are we doing? Why is this a main event? Why is this pay-per-view? Why are we not giving opportunities to people that deserve to be on TV, and we're paying to watch two celebrities fight just because they talk a lot? Just because some guy from YouTube wanted to talk a lot. A lot of their fight was hugging. Just every time they threw two punches. And don't get me wrong, I'm out of shape. I can't fight for a long period amount of time. But if I trained for it, I wouldn't want to hug someone the entire Sam. If I wanted to hug someone, I would come over to your apartment and we can hug. You want to hug? But like this is like,
aggressive.
I know you don't want to hug me. I know you don't want to hug me, but it's all right. Like if I wanted to hug somebody, I could go.
All right.
I don't. Oh, every time they started to get into it, like they threw a punch or like they landed one, they'd be like, "All right, let's hug. Let's hug." Just come on. Like let's see some real fighting going on around here. Like I'm not the biggest UFC. I'm not the biggest boxing fan. Like I don't know everything that goes on in those worlds, but I do know that other boxers deserve a lot more airtime like that than this was, because this was just embarrassing. And I mean, congrats, Tommy. You beat Jake Paul, gave him his first loss, but it's just annoying that was like the big pay-per-view event.
Yeah, I mean, people like watching weird things. Just happy Jake Paul finally lost during Black History Month. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Even though
Hell yeah,
won, it's whatever. But I'll take Jake Paul losing in life over anything. But Jackery, it's March. March is here.
yes.
We're about to start getting into conference tournaments here in a couple of weeks and really start getting the March Madness going. So we'll give them just a little appetizer, just a broad picture of what we're feeling in college basketball.
Oh yeah.
I think this is as much parity that we've had in college basketball in some time. I don't think anybody can say there's a clear favorite, clear one or two favorites or anything like that. I think this is as going to be as wide open as the Western Conference is in the NBA. I mean, different teams: Alabama with Brandon Miller, Tennessee, Purdue, UConn is still alive. My Texas Longhorns. Like there's so, and I know I'm missing out on teams because there's literally so half of the Big 12, Kansas.
Sam, I just looked
the
at the
Big 12
rankings.
is
When the hell did
insane.
Marquette become 6?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Like, where are we? What is going on?
The college basketball is insane right now because I think kind of the one and dones have kind of simmered down a little bit. So it's a lot of these teams that develop players and keep players are now coming to the forefront. And now there's so much balance. Like the Big 12 is a madhouse, Jack. It's a madhouse. And then it's like the Big 10 ain't nothing to seize that, or the SEC is nothing to seize that either. Down year for the ACC because of Duke and North Carolina. Even Duke is starting to figure it out. Miami's good. There's so many good teams. It's going to be hard to fill out brackets this year. If there was any year to not do a bracket, it would be this year because there's really no shot. Nobody's figuring this out. There are no gimmies. These conference tournaments are going to be huge. I think if I had to just broadly pick, a way too early pick, not a team, I'm going to predict that somebody from the Big 12 comes away as the NCAA champion this year. That's all I can give because it's that wide open.
Yeah, that's very fair to say because the Big 12, I felt like all year has been the conference that has been like, wow, here's some of the big teams. Even teams that like their in conference record's not great, but you're like, I don't want to play them. Yeah. Like Iowa State, I don't want to play them. Like TC, I don't want to play them. Like there's so many. There's just a lot of teams that you do not want to see.
Yeah.
And so I'll give like a couple teams that like the team I think is going to start to really pick it up and go and do really well. Like a sleeper team that's going to upset some teams, and a team I think is going to absolutely drop the ball. So my big team is how did UCLA become number 4? I'm just looking at that. They're gonna let everyone down again.
Because everybody in the Big 12 keeps beating each other.
It's ridiculous. Okay, so a team that I think is gonna like really run the table. I say to Alabama, they are so talented. A lot of the crap behind all the Brandon Miller stuff, like obviously that can really mess with the team's chemistry, really like a team's momentum and mental stability throughout a season. But the fact that everything that went down that one night and Miller dropped 41 that night, it makes me think a little differently going into this tournament. Alabama's deep. Alabama's long. Alabama can really move the basketball. They can shoot the basketball and they can rebound. That's where I think is huge in the NCAA tournament is if you could rebound, play defense, shoot the ball well, and you have experience. They have everything. They have really good talent plus experience. So the young guys are really good, but also they're upperclassmen, know how to lead a team. So that's my big team is Alabama. My sleeper team, all the way down to 22, TCU. Mike Miles Jr. is disgusting. He was injured for a little bit.
He is absolutely nasty.
But they had a lot of guys step up. Wells stepped up. Like when in his absence, he really stepped up his game. They have a lot of size. They have a lot of quickness. They have a lot of defense. If they stick to all that, I think TCU is the team that can be like one of those. Oh, they're probably going to be. If I'm doing the math right, they're probably going to be like a 5 or 6 seed going into this, depending on bracketology, whatever. So I could see them making a run to the Sweet 16 somehow. The team I think is going to absolutely drop it. Not going to be good. Now that I saw who's that number 4, I have 2 teams. I think Houston is not. I don't think Houston's going to. I don't think they have enough.
They don't play anybody.
I don't think it's going to be them. And UCLA always drops it every year. Those are the 2 people I always think will not advance that far. But like you said, those Big 12 teams, Big East teams are very scary too.
Yes. That's why I said Big East probably right behind the Big 12.
Yep. I think the Big East has been slept on a while just because it's starting to come back from where it used to be. We're starting to get back all those teams that we've expected. So UConn starting out hot this year, declining but coming back. Marquette has under Shaka Smart has been like what the hell? When did they become number 6 kind of team?
Yeah.
And then, Creighton has some good games under their belt. Villanova, and I can list all. They all have something to prove. Georgetown can. No, not you, Seamus. One of those. So that's for all the Family Guy people. That was a great joke.
Great reference right there.
Yeah, so I think just from where we're coming into March Madness, it's going to be madness.
It's going to be pure absolute madness, and I'm here for it. Don't sleep on my Texas Longhorns. We will have something to say about it. I wish Chris Beard didn't have all this extra ish around him, and he could have been there because, man, I think we were poised to make a really deep run. I was thinking at least Elite Eight or bust with how talented we are and the coaching, but with everything going on, I don't know. But keep an eye on us. Jack, time to put a bow on this thing.
It's time for Hit the Showers on the Locker Room Podcast.
Jack, I'll let you go first for Hit the Shower since I went first in AL with the.
Yeah.
Bring us home, Jackery.
Sure. I think we mentioned it. It's March. This is my favorite time of year, just because you get to hear the One Shining Moment song in the middle.
One shining
moment. I still get goosebumps. Like you still have those songs that, like, every time you hear it, it gives you goosebumps, or every time you watch a show at a particular scene, you get goosebumps for it. I know we talked about movies a couple weeks ago, but One Shining Moment is still a song where I'm like, all right, I'm in basketball practice. Coach Phelps puts it on in the background. One shining moment. You just get the tingle down your spine. You're like, yes. Yeah. Yes. So find that song that gives you the tingle down your spine and go after it in March.
I love it. I love the feeling of March. There's nothing like it. It's its own entity. I wouldn't say it's the best or better than anything, but it's just its own feeling. March in college basketball. So, and I love One Shining Moment. It's amazing. I was gonna go with something else here. I was kind of going back and forth for what to do for my Hit the Shower, but I feel like this is kind of where I need to go. The discourse with Lamar Jackson is starting to reach nasty proportions. I'm disgusted with a lot of so-called analysts and everybody saying about Lamar Jackson for wanting his money. I'm glad his team reached out to Stephen A. and confirmed that they never asked for $230 million guaranteed, over that guaranteed. The Ravens' first offer to Lamar Jackson was $130 guaranteed, Jack. It's hard for me to even want to go back to the negotiating table after you lowball me that number. I think people are forgetting who the hell Lamar Jackson is and how great he's been despite having nothing around him. I think this is flat out lunacy. And if the Ravens aren't going to pay him, plenty of other teams will. My New York Jets will give Lamar a blank check and tell him he can write 245 guaranteed if he'd like. The NFL is about, it's either the haves or the have-nots. You either have a quarterback or you don't. And if you're the Ravens, you have not built around him. You had a trash offensive coordinator who was holding him back from being the star that he truly is in the last couple of years. And you may have durability concerns, but he got hurt 2 times in the pocket because your O-line has been trash for the last couple of years. So let's get things straight about Lamar Jackson. He deserves to be paid, but his character and it should not be being attacked just because he wants to maximize the amount of money that he's trying to get. And the amount of money that he's earned is an MVP on his mantle. To start, for the Ravens to offer him $130 million, Jack, when Kyler Murray signed for $190 guaranteed, Russell Wilson was like $160-something guaranteed. It should have started at $190 million guaranteed. You want to start that low. If I was Lamar to ask for $275, since you want to start that low, I'm gonna start crazy high, and then I guess we'll meet in the middle. For Baltimore's sake, I hope they get it done. For Lamar's sake, maybe you do need to look elsewhere. If that team is not going to value you and they're going to try to lowball you that badly. curious to see how this plays out over the summer.
Falcons just released Marcus Mariota this morning. Is Lamar Jackson a Falcon?
They will pay him.
They made some room. They made 12. That alone is $12 million in cap room.
I think they got like 60-something million in cap space now. Fingers still crossed for my New York Jets or Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers or even Lamar Jackson if he is available. I will take any of those three so we can go to the playoffs. But it's been another episode of the Locker Room Podcast. Catch us on Apple. Catch us on Spotify, LimeWire, wherever you're getting your content, god dang it. Put us on your iPod Shuffle. I don't care. We're here, and we're here to stay. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Alongside Jack Sullivan, I'm Sam Pierce. Peace out.